Chicken Genius Singapore just reiterated that he still believes that Tesla stock will 10x. He also reiterated at what prices he will buy Tesla stock, which is not 140 by the way. Let's watch this video together.
Last video, I gave a warning on Tesla stock. I expected two things: the stock price to drop and many reaction videos. I knew it. I didn't watch and I didn't give a crap. You see, trying to be objective on a cult stock is like telling parents that their child is spoiled. So since Tesla China has dropped their price, and you must be wondering why. Is the demand too much? Look, listen to the Chinese guy living in Asia. And the thing is, I also hated the last earnings call. Elon was clearly trying to pump the stock from valuations of the stock of like 4 trillion to stock buybacks. Why the sudden change? I know I sound like Tesla Q, but I'll start adding below 180 to 140, portfolio sizing around 20 to 30%, no more than 90% like previously. So to me, there's too much risk from the stuff I said from the last video to geopolitics and the opinions I can't express online. I'm serious, or I'll get in trouble.
I personally like Chicken Genius Singapore. I would like him to make more content, and I welcome his opinions, and that helps us, I think, all stay on our toes and make better, sharper decisions. Chicken Genius pointed out potential demand concerns to me. If you believe full self-driving is going to happen, there is literally zero concerns about the demand, because think about this. Is it completely impossible to think that Tesla would have 50% gross automotive margins? Think about this. If you sell a $20,000 car with a $20,000 full self-driving option, even if you make zero profit from the sale of a car, but you still make 100% of a profit from software sale, what's the profit? So think about that for a moment. And it's very important to point out that prices of Tesla vehicles in China are still up when you look at the net numbers. They are still up from the beginning of 2022. And remember, these price cuts right now, they are still, you still have to take into consideration that Tesla's costs are also going down. Reuters reported that Tesla told Reuters it was adjusting prices in line with costs. Next, Elon Musk pumping the stock. Well, let's take a look into what Elon said before. Elon Musk said in 2015, Tesla could be worth $700 billion in 2025. Mind you, that prediction was about 2025. Today, at the risk of being obvious, I will point out it is 2022. We are still 3 years away from 2025. Market cap of Tesla stock today is just over $700 billion, and it was way higher just earlier. So we are already at that level. So with Chicken Genius Singapore here, I do agree that comments like that will pump the stock. I think there's no doubt about that. But if you make those statements come true later, and if that is what you actually believe as the CEO, don't you have an obligation to tell the shareholders, this is what I think will happen or is likely to happen? I don't see any problem with any of this because Elon Musk's prediction before came true. In fact, it came true early.
I'll start adding below 180 to 140, portfolio sizing around 20 to 30%, no more than 90%.
I don't see a problem with that strategy, especially if your goal is no longer to accumulate and grow your wealth as fast as possible. If your goal is now to preserve wealth, I see no issue. I think that's actually a pretty good strategy. That is not my current strategy, however. So when we look at Tesla stock at the moment, of course, it is down a lot. And with everything that's going on in the markets this year and the talks of a crazy recession coming up, this is what Elon believes, that we will have a recession in 2023. I don't see a problem of Chicken Genius Singapore reducing his position down to 20-30% of his portfolio compared to before it was 90%. I have never sold any of my Tesla shares in the hopes to buy Tesla stock at lower prices later. I am still in the accumulation phase of wealth. For Chicken Genius Singapore, I think his position has changed, because when you only have a few $100,000, which is what he had in Tesla, when you look at just a few years ago. And now if you look at the portfolio, and now all of a sudden it's 5 to 6 million, which is, I assume, is how much Chicken Genius Singapore has in his portfolio at the moment that he shared publicly with us earlier. And when you look at that number and you think about, you know what, I could retire on this money forever. But with all of the uncertainty going on in the world, what if a stock keeps tanking? Because macro environment would certainly affect Tesla stock, at least you would think. And if that is the case, and you compare the potential downside, and if a stock drops down another 50% or another 75%, let's say, in a very bad, horrible case scenario, and if your 5 million shrinks down to, let's say, 1,500,000, now you cannot retire. So when you think about those two scenarios, whereas if, let's say, you keep that 5 million and it 10x's, that's 50 million, your lifestyle is not going to be much different when you compare your net worth, of 5 million to 50 million. You still don't need to work in any of those case scenarios. Maybe you'll live, of course, in a nicer house. Maybe you can go on private jets now, but it's not going to be that differently. However, if your 5 million drops down to 500,000, your lifestyle is going to be very different if you want to retire. So that's my personal best guess. Perhaps he has a different reason. I would like to ask that question directly, and I would love to hear his response. Maybe he has another reason. This is my best guess.
I'm comfortable with a much smaller allocation, and I hope with that smaller allocation, it will 10x with FSD and robots.
So Chicken Genius Singapore still believes that Tesla stock will 10x. He didn't give a year by what time he thinks it would 10x. I would assume he would maintain his previous date of 2030. Maybe it's now 2031, 2032. Either way, that's very bullish. To think that the stock will 10x in, let's say, 10 years, that's still very, very, very bullish. For me personally, I currently put all of my excessive cash flow into Tesla stock, and by the end of this year, my excessive cash flow is probably going to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe if things go well, which seems like they could be. That might be as much as $1 million by the end of this year, and I'm putting all of that into Tesla stock. My name is Matt Pocius. These are 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. I'm coming to you from Vancouver in Canada, and I'll see you in the next video later today. Thank you so much for watching.